Are we all set? Okay. Oh, first of all, let me just put in a plug. The Golden State Warriors, they won last night. Huge, huge comeback.
Woo!
Great going, Golden State Warriors. I mean, this is a great comeback, and you're on to the NBA Finals, and it's a comeback like Bernie Sanders, particularly if Bernie wins next Tuesday, and we'll come back to that because right now, you should know, I am getting sick and tired. Can I just blow off a little steam? I'm getting sick and tired of hearing from these pundits who say that Bernie Sanders has absolutely no chance, no mathematical chance. I mean, what was it that Paul Krugman yesterday had an article in the Times saying, feel the math? I mean, that there's no mathematical possibility of Bernie Sanders getting the Democratic nomination. That is wrong. Paul, I know you. You know me. You blew it. You don't understand this stuff. I mean, here, right now, and we're just going to talk about pledged delegates because the unpledged, I mean, that is the people who are superdelegates, they could go in either direction. They are just Democratic insiders. All right? So the real important people are the pledged delegates. And if Bernie gets enough pledged delegates, and presumably if Hillary Clinton's polls keep falling, then the superdelegates may come over to Bernie. So here we are on pledged. Now, Hillary has 1,770. Actually, if you want to be technical about it, it's 1,769. Bernie has 1,500. Actually, technically, 1,501. And the difference between them, you mathematicians who say feel the math, is 270. All right? Do you get that math? Hello, Paul? Do you have a pencil and paper with you, Paul? And California alone, now the California primary is next Tuesday. California alone has 475 pledged delegates to allocate. Now you do the math. I mean, if there's a complete blowout in California, and there may be, it is not impossible that there could be a blowout. Suppose there is a blowout, and suppose, for example, that Hillary Clinton gets only 100 of those delegates, and let's say Bernie Sanders gets 375. That means that Bernie pulls ahead of Hillary, and that's just California. That doesn't include what happens in North Dakota or South Dakota, also have primaries. Or Montana or New Jersey also have primaries. And you've got the District of Columbia coming up on the 14th of June. And you've got Puerto Rico coming up even sooner than that. And the Virgin Islands on the 4th and the 5th of this month. I mean, do you understand, of June, do you understand the math? I mean, the math could be working in Bernie's favor. He's got the momentum. He's like the Golden State Warriors, the comeback kid. Yesterday in Oakland, I had the distinct pleasure of introducing Bernie Sanders to a crowd estimated at 30,000 people. Now, that's from the police in Oakland. That's the latest estimate from the Oakland police. They say actually 30,000 to 60,000. Now, I can tell you, I was there. I have never seen so many people in my life in one place. And getting up there and talking to them and introducing Bernie was a little bit, I mean, it was thrilling and intimidating at the same time. I mean, you get up in front of 30 to 60,000 people, and what was in my head when I was introducing Bernie, I didn't have a script. What was in my head was, supposing I blow this, or supposing I faint, or supposing I, accidentally, I say, sort of something terrible, or I emit a swear word, or I just, fall over. I mean, anything can happen in front of 30 to 60,000 people. So I don't know how many of you have spoken in front of 30 to 60,000 people. Have you done that?
No.
Do you want to do that?
No.
Well, I mean, it's one of the nightmares. I mean, when I was a kid, I had nightmares about standing up and speaking before hundreds of people. Well, try 30 to 60,000. Anyway, it was a great rally. The newspapers and the media have not reported 30 to 60,000. This is a huge event. This is one of the largest gatherings in the entire campaign, and it shows how much momentum Bernie Sanders actually has. This is an extraordinary, and was an extraordinary group of enthusiastic people. And then Bernie and I last night had dinner, my dinner with Bernie. And the thing about Bernie Sanders that you need to understand, we went into this little restaurant here in Berkeley. It was late. I had called the fellow who owned the restaurant because I wanted to make sure that he knew that Bernie Sanders and I were coming in, so he wasn't surprised. But it was fine. We took a booth in the back. Bernie Sanders in person is exactly like Bernie Sanders in public. There is no difference. I have known many, many politicians in my life. I've known some presidents. I have worked with people who are presidential candidates and senators and senatorial candidates and congresspeople. And sometimes there's a big difference between who they are in public and who they are privately. In fact, I won't name names, but there is a difference. Bernie Sanders is exactly the same person. Just the two of us had dinner, and he wouldn't mind me telling you, he had fish and chips and a Coke. Is that okay if I tell you that? I mean, it's not all that personal. I'm not going to reveal anything really personal because he didn't tell me anything personal, and I wouldn't have revealed it anyway. And I had chicken, and we sat there and we had a conversation about big ideas and also the campaign and what's going on. And he's fired up, and the man has so much energy. And I asked him, where does he get his continuous energy to go through a presidential campaign? Believe me, it is not like even running for state office, because running for state office or running for Senate, you have a beginning and you have an end, but this thing doesn't end. It goes on for a year and a half. It just goes on. And this is a man who is about my age, and I have energy. Hello, I've got energy. I do push-ups, and I do in the morning, I do all kinds of things, I mean, exercises. I keep in shape, reasonable shape, but Bernie Sanders is, his energy amazes me. And I asked him where he gets all his energy, and he said, well, basically, from young people. I mean, he's on the campaign trail. There are a lot of young people around him who have huge idealism, huge energy. He is continuing, and this is true of almost every state he has been in. He gets the majority of people under 45. And from where I am sitting, 45 doesn't seem like a youth vote, right? I mean, 45-year-olds used to be middle-aged, but he's got almost everybody under 45. And that tells a lot about the future of America and gives me a great confidence in the future of America. So we had a nice dinner, and we talked about everything. We talked about the campaign. We talked about his life.